3 AIs, 90 episodes, 1 Unity game. Gemini, ChatGPT, and Claude each get 30 days to build it. Let's see what happens.
So guys, we have a weapon system in our game now, but unfortunately that weapon system does nothing when it comes to damaging our enemies. So that's what we're going to be working on today. See, we got all these cool fire, but the enemy can still damage us. So let's get to work. Now, before we get started, if you haven't been watching the rest of the series, don't worry about it. We're just going to pick up exactly where we left off in the last one. And it doesn't have to be sequential viewing experience for you. So just stick with me here. And while it's processing this response, I'll just quickly show you. These are the tests we did for our projectile system. So everything here passed. The projectile explodes when it touches terrain, passes through coins and power-ups. It disappears after 3 seconds. Rapid tapping does not mean rapid firing. There's a cooldown time between each firing of the weapon. Firing does nothing when paused, and there's no errors in our console. So, as expected, the projectile is doing no damage to our enemies. So, let's see how long it takes for us to fix that. Okay, so ChatGPT says it's expected with the current implementation, so we're going to follow these instructions here. So I will follow these ones for now. Let me just move that aside and go to our project folder, then our assets and our scripts. And we are going to create an empty script here, empty C# script, and name this. Oh, okay, never mind. I was misreading the instructions there. So got this script created that I will delete immediately because that's not what it asked. All right, so real quick, I'll just delete this one and go back to my instructions and read it properly. So create an enemy layer. So we're going to select our prefab for the enemy. Let me just show you the scene view of what it looks like. This is our enemy here. Assets, prefabs, and patrol enemy. This is selected, and at the top of the inspector, we're gonna open layer and then add a layer. And we're gonna add a new layer named enemy. So right after ground, that's where I'm going for. Return to the prefab, okay, and assign the enemy layer. So layer should be enemy. And yeah, I guess for the child objects as well. But before, I just remembered something from, we have a bug which makes our firing and moving not work at the same time. So can get back to that in just a second. We're going to also change the children. And then this matters because the projectile currently only recognizes layers selected under hit layers. So anyway, we're going to now create our script and create scripting empty C# script and name this EnemyHealth.cs. And we're going to open this script up. And over here, just copying and pasting the code it gave us from here. So create EnemyHealth.cs and then just copy this code. You can always just download the repo from GitHub. It's in the description. But how cool will the damage to the enemy feel? I feel like it's going to be quite satisfying by the end of it. Okay, let's see what's going on in the script real fast. So we got current health and is dead. So it seems like we are not going for a one-hit death type of situation, which I actually like. Because even though our patrol enemy guys, we could probably do one-hit deaths. I feel like we can use this script for other things like bosses and other more, I don't know, powerful enemies that require more bullets to die. Anyway, so we got the awake function here. Every enemy begins with its configured maximum health. We got the take damage function, and we just pass in the damage as an int. Ignore invalid damage and prevent an already dead enemy from processing additional damage. So damage is less than equals 0 or is dead, then do nothing. Otherwise, we're going to subtract the damage that we're passing in here. And if the health reaches 0 or lower, then die. And what all that happens in die seems like we just set the boolean to true, and then we destroy the enemy. Okay, and let me save this and go back to our Unity. Right, it's done, and now we're gonna go back to our prefab and attach that script. So add component, and that should be enemy damage or enemy health, is it? Yep, enemy health. And keep max health at 1 initially. Okay, so max health should be 1, and this makes our testing obvious. 1 projectile should destroy the enemy. Now we're going to update our enemy projectile.cs script. So this is this guy, enemy projectile.cs. Open it up, and we're going to add a new field at the top. Let me just bring this here so you know what I'm looking at. Not what I wanted. Okay, so this one. This should go, might as well do here. Okay, replace your existing on trigger 2D, on trigger 2D, enter 2D. With this, so currently we just have the explode function after we do some layer checking there. So we'll replace that block with this block. Okay, and then apply the indentation. So let's see what's going on here. Prevents one projectile from damaging multiple colliders during the same physics frame. We don't need this to be 2 separate lines. Ignore objects whose layers are not selected under hit layers. Look for enemy health on the collider or its parent. Cool. Enemy health. Get your component and parent. All right, so as long as the enemy health is not null, you take damage, and then call the explode function at the very end. And let's see what ChatGPT is saying here. Get component parent enemy health. It searches the collided object and then moves upward through its parent, which makes this work whether the enemy collider is on the root or a child. And then we need to update our projectile prefab and finally test it out. So let's save this, go back to our game. All compiled. So now we're going to go to our projectile, energy projectile.prefab. This is not the prefab, this is the script. We need to go to prefabs and then energy projectile. And this one should have a damage. Did we save the script? Where's our damage? Energy projectile script. Okay, damage is set to 1. Hit layers set to ground and enemy. It wants me to do both grounds and enemy, but look, I got. How do I select both? Hit layer. Ground and enemy. Oh, okay. Looks like you can just, these work like checkboxes. So cool. Okay, and the code was, what does it actually look like? Layers, hit layers, like a layer mask. Okay, so I guess that works like, I don't know. All the layers are there. What are we pointing it at? Hit layers. Let's see. Layer mask, hit layers. I guess it just has all the layers there that you can choose from, and you can just check whichever ones you need to. But for this one, ground and enemy. All right, and explosion effects prefab. Leave your existing assignment. So this one is our explosion prefab. All right, and make sure both checkboxes are enabled in the layer mask drop down. Cool. Yep. So it is layer mask drop down. Okay. So finally, it's time to test. So let's go back to our scene and let's see if we still have that bug where stop moving once you fire. Yep, we still do. And I think I have an idea on why this is happening. So let me just go back into our player prefab, and I think the fire point is too close to our player. So where's our player? Player. Player, this guy. Should have been obvious, but fire point. Let's see. Maybe it's more clear in the scene view. What's a player at? So fire point. Ground check, fire point. So if I just move this a little bit here, maybe that fixes it. No, it doesn't actually. And the other thing I noticed is that it didn't used to be this way. It just randomly started happening. I did a bunch of Control Z's until the changes disappeared. So let me see if I did something on the sandbox that wouldn't cause the problem in a different level. Oh, I can't even fire here. That's not good. Why can I not fire? Anyway, thought must have done something wrong, something weird. I was able to shoot one bullet there. Yo, it's kind of weird, right? If I don't press the button, if I click here, like I'm clicking, okay? Every time you see it firing, I'm clicking. But if I press this button, then the problem happens. So I don't know what exactly is happening. See, I'm pressing here, no problem. But if I press here, it stops. So that's an interesting bug to have. Whoa, but by the way, the test just worked. The enemy did disappear and the explosion was there. Projectile hits coins, passes through, projectile damages enemy you want. So let's drop a bunch of enemies in our scene. Control enemy, drop this guy here, this guy here. Guys, so fire. Cool. Again, this is such an interesting bug. First of all, I don't know how we were able to click on the top of the button and have it work. And that second thing is why Why does it not work, or why does the player freeze once you don't touch the button, or touch the button? Anyway, what is going on? I accidentally must have selected something and clicked start writing. I hate this feature. This is super annoying. Anyway, let's tell ChatGPT about this bug. So the test was success. Tests were successful, but I am encountering an interesting bug. Flare freezes if I try to click fire and move left or right at the same time. As soon as the projectile appears, the player stops moving in the left or right direction, and I must press the left or right buttons to get the player to move again. The other interesting thing here is if I am able to fire the projectile by pressing above the actual fire button as well. But if I do, if I do that instead of pressing on the fire button, the player can actually move at the same time. And let's see what it wants from me. Let me know what you need from me to debug this. And let me grab a couple of screenshots. Okay, let's delete those enemies first. So screenshot 1. And let's do an arrow. Come on. Let's do an arrow pointing at the fire button. To the text. Press the button and movement stops. And I'll copy this one. And then do another one. Press above the button. Here, and the player can keep moving and firing at the same time. This is such a weird bug, right? Don't understand how this is even possible. But anyway, let's see what it thinks and see what it wants. Okay, so it strongly suggests two related UI or input system configuration problems. Pressing fire is canceling the active move action, often because fire and movement use different control paths. Fire's clickable rect transform or another raycast target is larger than the visible button. Don't change anything yet, so okay, I'll see what it wants. I'll read them and capture. Full inspector screenshot of the fire button. Okay. Stop the game. Where's our mobile UI canvas, mobile controls, fire button, and full screenshot. Okay, so let me also grab the actual button in there. Okay, so it wants everything in the inspector, so it's going to be multiple screenshots. Just one. Does that cover everything? So normal color. Normal color. Yeah, okay, so that should be all 2 screenshots from there. and inspector screenshots of the left button or right button. So I'll do left button or maybe right button because that's what we've been using more in our. By the way, the other thing is I have been using the keyboard to move left and right, so I don't know if that could be a problem. Maybe I'll let ChatGPT know. Full inspector screenshot of the jump button. Okay, so let's do jump. And here. Screenshot of the input action assets. Input actions asset showing the bindings beneath move, jump, and attack. Move, jump, and attack. So move. So we're on jump. Where would the where would the let me read one more time. Screenshot of the input action asset. Input action asset. Okay, I'll have to ask what that actually means, but the next one it wants is the player input, so take a bunch from there. One and two with the jump. And paste that player controller.cs and player shooting. I'll just drag and drop those scripts. Okay, so it's dragged and dropped and paste any custom scripts attached to the mobile buttons. Not that I know of. I mean, no custom scripts are attached there. So anyway, let me see. By the way, I should probably clarify I am using keyboard A and B for the left and right key movements, and haven't tested this bug on mobile. Also, um, I'm not sure what you mean by input actions asset or this guy. Input actions asset. Screenshot of the input actions asset. And just clarify where can I find input actions asset. But the rest are attached, so it's probably going to be a while. And another thing I just discovered is anywhere on the screen starts firing the weapon. So I can click anywhere on the screen and it fires the weapon. So I wonder. I also discovered that clicking anywhere on the screen fires the weapon, and it doesn't cause the freezing issue, freezing while moving issue. So I am wondering if we're somehow triggering a double fire once we click the fire button at the same time. Anyway, first of all, is this expected? is clicking anywhere on the screen to fire expected. Otherwise, and let's see. Before we debug even any of this, I feel like this is an important piece of detail to think about. Okay, let's see what's going on. Clicking anywhere is not intended to do this. Input system underscore action slash player slash attack. Input. Where even is that thing? Input system actions? Is that a prefab we made? Input systems? Not that I see. Maybe it addressed it in the previous one. Project window, enter in the search bar. Okay. And find input system underscore actions. So project window. Okay. So this one's in. Okay. I don't even like where this is taking me, honestly. This is a super annoying bug. Select the player. Okay, let me. Okay, I guess it's just in assets. So anyway, assets and settings. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so here, input system actions, input system actions, player. Let's open this. Player. Okay, there we go. Attack. Delete the left button binding and keep button west. Left button binding. Okay, so I wanted a screenshot of this. Maybe I should provide it, right? So what did it want again? I'll just show you. Screenshot of the input action showing the bindings beneath move, jump, and attack. Okay, so maybe that's what it needs to see. Move, jump, and attack. And maybe it will be able to figure it out from this screenshot. Let's see. There might be some conflicts there. Anyway, I haven't done any of the steps yet. Just wanted to show you the input system first. Maybe it will know exactly what's going on based on this one. So screenshot confirms that attack has several bindings, so one-click tap can trigger through multiple routes. For Android design, we're going to keep only this one and then remove all the other attack bindings. And hopefully that should fix it. So let's see. All right, keep only button west, this one, and then all the other ones. It wants me to delete. I kind of want to keep the mouse left button there also. Kind of don't want to do this, but might as well. Yo. Okay. Bunch of undos and redos until only the button west is left. And remove the other attack bindings. Okay, so now that should hopefully fix our problems. Let's see. No, it fixed our. No, it didn't. We can still click anywhere. Oh, I think it. I think I might not have saved it. Alright, so save asset. Okay, and now let's try that again. First of all, get rid of these guys. And now I'm still clicking, but nothing's happening. Will it move at the same time as it fires? Nope. Firing stops. Seems like this is don't like this bug at all. This is super annoying. It seems like I cannot even redo or bring back everything I just deleted. So again, game development is not easy. It requires a lot of patience. Yeah, so we will fix this in the next one, but before I end this one, I want to show you this clip from the last episode. Um, it was working fine. See, my cursor is on the fire button, and I was able to move the player and fire at the same time. Let's try again. See? It didn't miss. Okay, we might have to make this live. I mean, I might have to see. Look at that. Start running. It's kind of hard to tell. Let's try again. Yeah, I think it passed. Okay, maybe my mouse cursor was a bit above the. And a missed projectile disappears after 3 seconds. So, yeah, I'm trying to. Trying to find a clip where I did both at the same time. This is super annoying. Yeah, I'm not gonna bore you. I'll look at it myself and we'll fix it on the next one.